start out just covering
It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict. Today we were sitting down with the Sedona Fire District to talk about their technical rescue team in general. Summer is here pretty much, and people are out hiking. We've already had in our newscasts quite a few rescues throughout Yavapai County, and of course Sedona, beautiful place, a lot of red rock, a ton of endless trails in Sedona. So we decided to get Alan Schimberg. He's the technical rescue program manager with the Sedona Fire District, just to get in here and talk about the training that the team does, the difficulties of performing some of these rescues in these remote areas of Sedona specifically. So thank you for being here, Alan.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, back again. I guess you're here a couple of years ago
talking
about this as well. And I guess first off, when we cover the technical rescue team, how many people are we talking about, and what is the primary focus of that team?
Okay. Yeah, well, we have a core team of technical rescue team members. It's 18 people. We try to balance that amongst, A, B, and C shift. That'd be 6 members per shift. That way we have people that are, qualified and trained on duty, even when we have a few people that might be off or something like that. Those 18 members are more highly trained than everybody else in rope rescue, swiftwater rescue. They go through quite a bit of training in order to be able to adequately respond to the emergencies that we have to go to, and the technicalities that come into play with the rope and the swiftwater calls and stuff. In Sedona, everybody that works for the fire department that's considered part of operations gets rope and swiftwater rescue training.
Oh, really?
They would be considered at the operations level, and then those 18 do all of the additional advanced training that would be, qualifying them as a technician. So
Okay.
We have ops level and technician level. So the team is 18, and they're all technician level trained.
Okay, so you mentioned 6 on call right at one time?
6 on duty.
On duty,
per
okay.
A, B, and C. But things fluctuate with vacation leaves and sick leaves and stuff like that. So sometimes, if we have extra people working that day that are technician, or sometimes we'll have a few less. But
Okay.
we also have a pretty robust callback system when we get a major complex rescue system that needs to be used. Then they'll do a callback for the technical rescue team, and we usually get a really good response from people. That's kind of part of the commitment.
Okay, maybe we can go into talking about a major incident. Sedona, of course, that's your guys' home, your base within that district. But what about surrounding communities? Because there's so many just throughout the Verde Valley, throughout the county, hiking everywhere.
Yeah.
And backpackers everywhere, rock
Right.
climbers everywhere. Talk about how you work with other communities and just some of the other agencies like Yavapai County Search and Rescue, their backcountry team, their rope team. Talk about that relationship.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we really try to foster a good working relationship with, Coconino County Sheriff's Office, their
Right.
search and rescue team, Yavapai County Sheriff's Office, their search and rescue team, Department of Public Safety. We have a really strong, robust, again, working relationship with them, and their air rescue helicopter comes in very handy for us in a lot of ways for some of these big rescues, whether it comes to lighting up a scene at nighttime, transporting our members up above somebody that needs to get rescued, transporting gear, and then also, they do the short haul program with us. That's us and them that do that. Our members are on the end of the line. They're obviously flying the helicopter, and they'll move some of our people into positions where we can't get to. And then also, we have a good, strong working relationship with the other Verde Valley Fire agencies. A lot of our training is done together with Cottonwood Fire, Verde Valley Fire District, Jerome Fire. So we all kind of, play on the same sheet of music and know what to expect when we show up on those scenes with one another. And we're there to support one another. So, if we need help, we'll call them. If they need help, then they'll call us.
Yeah, in terms of training, how often is the team training?
So to be a technical rescue team member for Sedona, you go through a 6-day rope technician level training program and about a 6-day swiftwater rescue training program. And they have to do that every 3 years. And then in between those times, we do 9 full-day technical rescue drills every year. So we try to do something new every time. We try to do it in a new location where, you know, the same old reliable anchors aren't there. There's different trees, or there's no trees at all, or, you know, so we try to do something different every time, try to challenge everybody, put us in a new location, and make people think outside the box, because that's where these calls happen.
Right, yeah, and I guess it's not the same scenario every single time, and it's not the same location, I imagine. Right. Do you just train throughout Sedona? I mean, it seems like that's just a kind of a large natural training facility.
Yeah, it is. It's a natural training facility for us. There's endless locations for us to be able to train. You know, some places are better than others for certain things that we're doing. It just depends on what the goal of the training is. Sometimes the training is done right at Station 3 in the village of Oak Creek, because we have a 3-story tower there, so we can accomplish some things there that are just, you know, when we want to set something up that's like a bread and butter type operation where our member can go through numerous times and get several reps at doing something, then we'll do it at the tower. But, you know, probably only 2 to 3 of those drills per year are done there. The rest of them are all done in the field. Okay. We'll hike in and you know, treat it like a real scenario.
Yeah, when you're looking at some of these hikers, I mean, I know we've had a couple, just a couple weeks ago, a gentleman from Phoenix fell down onto a ledge in Sycamore Canyon, was forced to spend the night there. We've had near Devil's Bridge over there in Sedona, a young lady was hiking up a cliff with sandals and shorts and became stuck on a ledge. It's kind of a similar situation. She didn't fall, but she was stuck on a ledge. In the 911 call, she was saying, I can't move. I don't know where the ledge is. There's brush, trees everywhere. What are some of the common mistakes that you see hikers making, especially when you get called out to a rescue?
Yeah. Well, you know, the most common ones obviously are lack of preparation. So you don't have enough water. You're not wearing the right type of footwear. You have no little backpack with you that's going to have any sort of insulation in it for yourself. Also, no way to really know where you are. So I think that a lot of these happen because people come into Sedona, they're wearing, you know, penny loafers or sandals or flip-flops. They pull into some little parking lot and they want to go take some pictures, so they get out of their car, they start, you know, walking down some trail. Then they want to try to get somewhere better than that. And Sedona invites people to, you know what I mean, just the topography invites you to explore. So what people do is they start heading up the rocks, which are, you know, fairly easy to climb up, but they're not as easy to come back down. So people, you know, will climb up to a location where they want to, you know, get to and take a look at the view, and then they realize they can't get down and they can't go up, so they're stuck on a ledge. And that's when they call us and say, hey, I'm stuck, I can't get down, I need your help. And that's our most common situation that we run into.
Kind of hikers going off trail and just exploring. Like you said, I mean, being surrounded by the red rocks and just that beauty, especially if you're not from the area. Yeah. It's you get lost in that scenery. And once you get off trail, I mean, I've been hiking in Sedona and the loose rock. Going up, it's not maybe that difficult, but coming down, it's extremely difficult. And also the path looks different. Yeah. So it's not a good situation, especially if you're not wearing the proper footwear.
Yeah,
so
right.
We're going to take our first break. For more information on the Sedona Fire District, 928-282-6800 or sedonafire.com. We're talking the technical rescue team at the Sedona Fire District. We'll go over some scenarios in the actual process of a rescue when we come back from break. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
This was me.
Mom and Dad. And my big brother Alex. And Jack. And this was the day that I learned that sandals get their name from sand. That jellyfish aren't made of jelly. That stars don't just come from the sky. That the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget that I was sick. And it changed everything. This was my wish.
I call you and say, I'm with the IRS. You owe back taxes, and if you don't pay today, you're going to jail. You can fix this by sending cash. Did you actually believe me? Too smart to fall for it? Well, last year, Americans paid $100 million to guys like me. 1 in 6 people were scammed. Can you believe it? Well, you shouldn't. I just made that up, too. You are a little gullible.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with Technical Rescue Program Manager with Sedona Fire District, Alan Schimberg, talking about just rescues in general and hikers. We talked about before the break the dangers of going off trail, losing your footing when you're coming back down. We talked about, just being prepared. You never know when you're going to be forced to stay the night. That gentleman that we mentioned earlier, who last week was forced to stay the night in Oak Creek or Sycamore Canyon because he fell, and the call came in at night, 8 o'clock, and they found him at 1 in the morning. It was dark. Maybe we could talk about kind of calling 911 once you make that call if it's late in the day. I mean, sometimes it seems like it's not uncommon for a hiker to be forced to stay the night. Talk about how that decision is made and if anybody is able to stay with them.
Yeah, okay. Well, the first thing I would say is if someone, thinks that they're in trouble, call right away. You know what I mean? A lot of times people will think they're in trouble or get into a situation, and then they'll spend quite a bit of time trying to sort of self-rescue or get themselves out of the predicament. Meanwhile, the daylight hours are passing by, and then by the time that they realize, hey, it's going to be dark soon, that's when they call, which complicates things, because then by the time we get there and we get assembled and we get the operation underway, we're dealing with it in the dark. And which is, it definitely complicates things, but we do operate in the dark. We will, call the DPS for lighting. We all, carry enough equipment with us to be able to light up, whatever scenes we need. And so we'll definitely work through the entire night trying to rescue somebody or trying to access somebody, trying to get to them. Occasionally it does happen to where somebody has to spend the night out in the elements because of the situation that they're in. If it's really remote or if access is that bad, then we may have to pull back and then make an attempt again in the morning to access them when we have daylight. But typically what we'll try to do is at least get 1 or 2 of our members with that person somehow to spend the night with them. We carry emergency space blankets. We can take a little bit of food. We take some water to them. We take little stoves. So we carry things with us. We have go bags that are kind of designed for that, spending the night out in the backcountry like that.
That must be a little bit of a relief for a hiker if you're stuck there, especially if you're injured. And you get the word that you're forced to, stay the night out there. Yeah. Having 1 or 2 rescuers with you who have the medical supplies, like you mentioned, the little stove, it just has to at least lift your morale a little bit. So let's kind of go through a rescue process. You get the 911 call. Okay, there's someone in a remote area of Sedona stranded. Say you get there, it's on a cliff. Okay. They're on a cliff face. Take me through kind of the thought process, the planning process, and how you guys execute a search of somebody stuck on a cliff.
Sure, yeah. So finding them, is the primary thing that we need to do. Where are they at? And then if they're in a location where we can access above them easily, then we'll hike in with our equipment. That's the number one goal. Is if it's going to be a rescue where we have to use ropes to get down to them and get them out of the situation, then we have to get above them. That's the way that rescues work. So whether we hike in or we use, DPS to transport us and our gear above them, that's step number one. Step number two is going to be determining if they're critically injured or if they're just stuck, standing on a ledge, got into a situation that they can't get out of. Because that determines whether or not we need to take the metal Stokes basket over the cliff and down to them with us or not, which is pretty uncommon. Most of what we do is someone stuck on a cliff that climbed up and can't get down. So selecting anchors. So sometimes we have a huge tree, large boulder. It's right there. It's just right. We can anchor onto that and head over the cliff and get down to that person. If there's no anchors, then we have to create anchors, which we carry equipment to be able to do that. Whether it's like climbing cams or we have a bolt gun, we can drill bolts in the rock and secure anchors that'll hold support our ropes. Beyond that, typically what we'll do is if we can get enough people up there, then we'll do what's called a team-based operation, where all the lowering and or raising that occurs is done up at those anchors by a team of people that would use this device right here. This is called the multi-purpose device. It's made by CMC Rescue. MPD is what we call it. And this is a very, very nice device for what we do. It works very efficiently. You can lower the rescuer down with it, and then that same device can convert into a haul system that we would build out of ropes and pulleys that kind of connect onto this thing, and we build what's called a mechanical advantage system, and we would haul those people back up the cliff.
Wow.
This would be the harness that we would take down with us to somebody. So if we have someone that's stuck on a cliff, we typically call those people geckoed. And they're not wearing a harness, they're stuck in a sticky situation. We take a harness down to them that's pre-set up to our ropes.
Is this kind of like a standard rock climbing harness, or is this different?
It's more beefy than a standard rock climbing harness, and it's designed in such a way that we pull it out of the bag, and with these little Velcro, you just deploy the Velcro strap and the leg loops kind of come out like that. So it's kind of a quick deployment pickoff harness. And we'll come down on ropes, mid-face on a cliff that might be 200-300 feet tall, and come down next to them, and we got to dig that out of a bag. It's already pre-connected, like I said, and get that around them, tighten it up, deploy the leg loops, and get them packaged. Those are some intense few moments when you know that they're not attached to the ropes. You're putting them on a harness. There's a potential that you can knock them off the cliff during that time. A lot of times they just want to grab right onto you and think that that's, what needs to happen. So we'll definitely tell these people before we get to them, do not touch us, stay where you are, hold on to the rock, I'm going to put a harness on you.
And this would be used for somebody who's not injured?
That would be used for somebody that has climbed themselves into a situation that they can't get out of and is not injured or mildly injured, but enough that they can still kind of manage themselves somewhat. If we have somebody that falls and lands on like a ledge mid-face and has critical injuries, then we're going to take them down and put them in the metal Stokes basket, which is a much more complicated rescue than going down and doing what is called a pick-off. And that's our most common rescue is a pick-off.
A pick-off, okay.
Yep.
So somebody who's not extremely injured, they just got stuck in a bad situation. So somebody in a Stokes basket, do you use the pulley system to bring that up, or is that more of like a helicopter operation to get them off of the ledge?
It would be a pulley system up above, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Some of the situations, if they're really critically injured and it would take a substantial amount of time for us to gain access to them, then, just based upon the risk versus benefit that there is, then we will call in DPS Air Rescue, and we have 5 people on our department that are trained in short haul rescue. So they would get, slung basically by the helicopter into the victim location with a Stokes basket. package that person, and then the helicopter would come back in and clip onto them and hoist them out and fly them to safety. Wow. And we do a substantial amount of those per year as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, just the risk it puts you guys at as well. I mean, it's a very, very difficult situation, and a lot of them take time. I mean, I think that's why if you call for help at 4 in the afternoon, you think, okay, I mean, we still got 4 hours of daylight.
Yeah.
But by the time you get everyone assembled, the team, they get out there, they
it
form
could be
this
1,
plan.
2 o'clock in the morning by the time we finish up.
Right.
You know,
So
or longer.
I guess the message is just if you think if you're lost, if you're stuck, just call for help. Call for help. So
absolutely.
We're going to take our second break, sitting down with the Sedona Fire District Technical Rescue Program Manager, Alan Schimberg, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. He'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
I didn't know where my life was going. With Wounded Warrior Project's help, I was able to get my life back in order. I thank Wounded Warrior Project not only for helping me, but also helping veterans that I know that are dealing with the same struggles that I am. Wounded Warrior Project understood what I was going through. I'm grateful that Wounded Warrior Project helped me reestablish my life. I am living proof.
Hello, I'm Jen Cohen, host of Verde Valley TV's hit TV show, The Verde Valley Experience. On each episode, we feature local organizations, nonprofits, persons of interest, events, activities, and great local musicians. It's informative, it's entertaining, it's fun. It's the Verde Valley Experience.
We meet online, and I tell you, I'm falling in love. I have to see you in person, but I need a loan for the ticket. I really think you're the one. And I really think you're desperate. Sure enough, you send cash and never see me again. Too smart to fall for this? Last year alone, 12 million Americans lost money this way. Can you believe it? You shouldn't. I made that up, too. Might not be as smart as you thought you were.
Welcome back to Countywide. Just a few minutes left in the show. Real quick, we're sitting down with the Technical Rescue Program Manager from the Sedona Fire District, Alan Schimberg. A lot of, we touched on it, rugged terrain in Sedona. What would be the worst case scenario for a rescuer? What would be the most difficult scenario for you guys?
Yeah, well, I think, in Sedona we have numerous slot canyons, which are, the really very narrow canyon that's maybe 4, 5, 6 feet wide, a couple hundred feet deep, and it's almost like a canyon that's in the bottom of a larger canyon. So those calls are going to end up being the most complex that we can respond to, I think, in Sedona. The amount of work and access problems that occur when someone gets hurt in a slot canyon, just being able to locate exactly where they are and pinpoint where they are in the slot canyon is going to be challenging. We have to get access to both sides of the canyon. We got to get ropes across the canyon. We're going to have to move a rescuer out mid canyon, and then be able to also lower them straight down into the slot canyon, do the rescue, pull them straight back out. We can't hike down to the rim of that slot canyon or move somebody down along the rim, because we're going to be knocking rocks loose that can fall and end up right on top of the people that we're trying to help. And
time consuming. It's
very time consuming. We had one years back that was in Insomnia Canyon, and it was a 36-hour rescue. It was a joint operation with Coconino County Search and Rescue and also DPS and us. And we had another one, I think it was last year. And the people ended up having to spend the night in Illusions Canyon, and we rescued them by helicopter the next day.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
I mean, just
very complex.
The variety of scenarios that you can find yourself in. I mean, as a rescuer and as a hiker that you can get yourself in. I mean, a slot canyon, if you're just hiking along, it seems like it could be pretty easy to just fall into one of those, especially if it seems like a crack at first. And I mean, that's the thing. If you're off trail and you roll an ankle, you may be in the best shape of your life, you may be an experienced hiker, but you roll your ankle, and then all of a sudden you're in a completely different situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then real quick, we want to run through just some tips for hikers. Remember to never hike alone. Always carry a cell phone or one of those beacon devices, those personal locators, and then always let someone know where you go. That gentleman in Sycamore Canyon last week had his family members knew where he went. He drew out a hand map, said, if I'm not back by 6 p.m., call for help. So always let someone know where you're going and when you plan to be back so that they know when to call for help. So, Mr. Schimberg, thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
And
thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for, you guys putting yourselves at risk all the time for this, so we appreciate it. 928-282-6800 for more information on the Sedona Fire District. This is Countywide. We'll be back, or we'll see you next time.